What's up, guys? We are back with another LG V60 video, and I wanted to give it about a week for this phone so I can make sure that it's still functioning right. So it got the not the LG, but the Android 13 update, which, I was just really surprised by that. And I wanted to see, the experience with the phone, considering that it's the last major OS update. Also, what's very interesting and I'm going to be looking out for is, will LG give this phone security patches? Because typically after the last major OS update, you should get like maybe 2 years, 3 years of security patches. So I'm really curious to see, if they're going to do that or if they just stop, the updates completely. Alright, so basically I want to go ahead and start off with, I know one of the most major concerns with any new update is battery life. I haven't noticed any difference with battery life on this phone. It still has excellent battery life, lasts all day, and very good standby time. So if you do have any battery problems, let me know in the comments down below. But yeah, I think just from what I've been seeing, just reading, online and other people's videos about the phone, it seems like battery life is pretty good universally for a lot of V60 users. So that's very good. And the V60 in general just has a pretty massive battery at 5,000 milliamps. You have wireless charging on here as well. And I've always really enjoyed this phone, especially as a light user. This phone easily can go day and a half. So battery life is still fairly good with this update. Now, also, one of the fantastic things about the LG V60 is this phone is an absolute monster when it comes to gaming performance. You can play games at still very high settings on here, and it's got the Snapdragon 865 chip on here, which is just blazing fast still. Very efficient chip. Doesn't get as hot as some of the newer chips. And it's just really fast. Not only that, but this phone does have micro SD card support as well too. So it's just a beast when it comes to gaming. Like I said, if you guys remember, you can attach the dual screen case on this phone and you can get a very much improved gaming experience. So like, just for instance, like PUBG, you'll be able to see the map if you use a dual screen case. So there are some benefits to that. And yeah, it's just an absolute monster when it comes to the performance on here. It's still very fast. And I think the Android 13 update, in general, I think the animations look a little bit smoother to me. Everything is a little bit more fluid as well. So one of the things that I noticed, typically when you swipe over to Google Now, sometimes you'll get that little animation glitch, but that's not there anymore. So it's just a very fast phone, guys. I just absolutely love it. It's just really, really blazing fast, especially again for an older phone. It just sort of flies. And also, guys, this is a 128 gig, and then you also have the 8 gigs of RAM on this model as well too, which is very nice. So the phone itself is just very fast and very fluid. Now, watching content on the V60 is still pretty good. It's got the POLED display, it's HDR10 plus, and then it's also a pretty massive display at 6.8 inches, and then it does have 395 for the PPI, so it's a very sharp panel as well too. Icons and everything still look very good. And like I said, one of the advantages with the display is, again, the dual screen display, which, and again, you can buy it for like, I think it's still trending for around less than $100 on eBay right now. So if you do want to buy that, it's just a very bright, vibrant display. The only downside with this display, I think in 2023, is that there's no high refresh rate. So there's no 90 hertz, 120 hertz. Now, it is a very smooth panel for 60 hertz, I will say that. But again, that's one thing that I wish they added when they brought this phone out. But like I said, it's a very smooth phone for 60 hertz. All right, so let's talk about the cameras on the V60, because LG did update the cameras on here. And again, I didn't really notice too much, big of an improvement in terms of image quality, except for the ultra wide. I think the ultra wide just takes way better photos now. It seems like the coloring to me is just much better. And I mean, I could be crazy, but I'm telling you, it takes like better photos, like it's processed better. But the cameras on the V60 were always pretty good, regardless of, it was on Android 11 or 12. So it does have a 64 megapixel standard at 13 megapixel ultra wide and a 0.3 depth sensor. It shoots in 8K 30 on here as well too. And they have a 10 megapixel selfie cam that shoots in 4K 30. It still takes fantastic photos, especially in good lighting. It takes photos just as good as, some newer phones. And yeah, I think the V60 also has a really dope manual camera mode or pro mode, and I think it's just really awesome to be able to have that control over your device. Also, the night photography is still pretty solid on here too. So if you want to record, like you want to get into TikTok, YouTube Shorts, stuff like that, this is a great phone for that, because you can really have control over how the video looks, which I think is really important. The LG V60 does have some pretty good sounding stereo speakers. So the speakers are definitely a little bit better. And also I noticed that the fingerprint scanner is a little bit more, it's just a tad bit faster. So that's one thing that I noticed, is it's just a little bit smoother to me as well. So that's one thing that I really like. Before it wasn't too bad, but when I first got this phone, it was just kind of slow compared to what Samsung was doing, only because it's an optical one, so it needs to have pressure. But yeah, I absolutely love that, and I kind of wish they would have added face unlock, but that's fine. But yeah, so it's just an awesome device. IP68 dust and water resistant. You got, again, the quad DAC for people who are serious about your audio experience, and you put a good pair of headphones on this thing and you'll be blown away with the sound quality as well. Not to mention that this thing is pretty much built like a tank. It just feels extremely sturdy in the hand, very comfortable, smooth edges on this phone. Even for a big phone, this is very easy to hold. And yeah, the back, I wish it kind of had like a matte finish, or if you hate fingerprints, you could get like the cream version of this. But yeah, it's just still a very nice looking phone in my opinion. So the V60 has so much going for it, guys. Quad DAC, it's got a pretty nice display. You can have dual screen display capability. It's running the latest version of Android, and also powerful Snapdragon 865 chip. Literally will blow through anything you throw at it. I have a gaming test for this phone as well too. Great speakers, and pretty good camera. So even if you don't want to use this phone as your main phone, I would always take this phone with me as a backup phone. That's how good it is, guys. And like I said, very cheap investment. It's not like you're spending a whole bunch of money. So let me know what you guys think, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.